Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Well, I guess miracles of miracles. I started right at 7 a.m. this morning. I don't know when the last time that happened. Actually, normally I like to give people a couple minutes to, in case they're running late, but I guess this morning it's starting right on time. So I hope you all had a nice week. So I kind of did it again. I gave a teaching on Wednesday that I would like to repeat on Sunday. Aligning in one's practice and finding peace and cultivating inner peace is really the essence of the spiritual path, because it really helps us connect to truth with a capital T. And we are able to see through a lot of confusion and be able to make the right decisions in our lives, both practically and spiritually. And I gave a teaching for about an hour and 15 minutes on working with shalom, peace, and kind of how to create a time in our practice to be able to cultivate that. And I also discussed the importance of reviewing teachings and absorbing knowledge on the path, so we are well equipped for life and our spiritual journey. So I would like to replay the teaching from Wednesday. If somebody's already heard it and they don't wish to hear it again, and there is a certain importance in rehearing things, one gets different levels and picks up on things they didn't get before. But if someone doesn't wish to hear it again, but would like to listen to one of the teachings, feel free to go into the teachings that are on YouTube from the past. It's all mainly up there. Teachings from last spring are very powerful. And feel free to listen to one that calls you and re-listen to that, or find one that you didn't listen to previously if you feel called. I don't know how often I'll be repeating a Wednesday teaching on Sunday. I'm going to try to keep them separate. But I go with the flow, and sometimes things come out. I hope this teaching blesses you all. And I wish you all a wonderful week. And now let's tune in to Wednesday's teaching. Bye-bye, and until later. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're well. Welcome to the Wednesday evening prayer gathering. Hope you're all having a nice week. So this evening, I thought we would just focus on prayer a little bit. Last week, I gave a teaching that kind of spontaneously came up, and I repeated it on Sunday. I really try to keep more substantive big teachings, especially new things, on Sunday. So this evening, I thought we would just focus on prayer. I'm not going to introduce any bodywork things tonight. I want to keep those things till Sunday, because not everybody can join during the week, because people have to work. Sunday with a time at 7 and a repeat at 3 p.m., I hope that kind of gives enough latitude for everybody to join one or the other's teachings. And on Wednesday, I'm really going to try to keep it to actual practice and also kind of prayer instructions, which are really important. And so I hope, even though the focus remains on Sunday, that people would find a little time to actually listen to the portions when I do talk on Wednesdays, to receive the sort of practice tips on prayer postures, intention, what to do if things come up, the things that I kind of share throughout a practice. So the information, if you don't need it right away, you learn it. So if you come across these things later on, you're like, oh, HP said that about 2 months ago. Maybe I'll try this. Not all of that can be on Sunday because it kind of comes up in the context of meditation, which we'll be doing on Sunday. But I don't want to not give any instructions on Wednesdays when it sort of comes up. So hopefully that will be helpful. I don't know if there's a way on YouTube to fast forward and to be able to hear when I speak and not when the gaps are. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll think of a way. Well, it won't be today, but maybe one of these days I'll start writing in the comments the time periods where I do give instructions, or something. I don't know. I want to make it as easy as possible. But tonight, we're going to just focus on prayer, to do the practice, to take that pause in the middle of the week and tap into peace. There's, a lot going on in our lives and in the world. And tapping into peace and asking for that divine peace for ourselves, our minds, our bodies, our families. We're keeping it tighter in this winter retreat. So we're focusing on ourselves a lot. We're bringing that energy and focusing it on us. Because it starts with ourselves and then it moves outwards from there. We heal ourselves so we can be better as we move in our lives, in the wider field that's around us. And so what we ask is peace, which also kind of comes with healing. Where we have peace, anything that's not peace heals. Any disturbance heals. Any illness heals. Any pain heals. So when we rest in the peace of God, we rest in perfection. And anything that isn't perfect is resolved, is made perfect. Yes? So saying a name of God, two parts, Yahweh Shalom, or Hashem Shalom, or Adonai Shalom, or Elohim Shalom, we are asking for or Emmanuel Shalom, or any of the other names we have, Abba Shalom, we are asking the peace of God to descend on us. And you do feel it when you've activated the energy of the name through practice and working with it. There is an opening, and you do feel peaceful. You do feel healed. So why don't we do a quick stretch, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. My legs are feeling very tight this evening. And then we light our prayer shrines and we offer up some incense. And then we'll begin. Let's maybe like 3 minutes or so. Okay, wonderful. Okay. I gave a little thought about what I said earlier about sort of listening in to the meditation techniques that sort of kind of come up on a Wednesday practice. And what suggests two things. One, you incorporate the teaching by playing it on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, when you have time and you incorporate the recording as your practice, and therefore you listen to it as you do your practice when you do have time, if you're not able to attend live on Wednesday, or you listen to it in the background when you're, I don't know, doing the week sometime, when you're cleaning your house, whatever you need. Instruction, knowledge is very important. I used to listen to a lot of recordings from my teachers from past years, and, I gave myself permission to listen and fit it in where I could, and to repeat it many times if I felt it was important. And sometimes I would be multitasking with other things when I did it. And the importance is to be able to hear enough that you catch the important parts of things you don't understand or things that you think is important for you, as opposed to just letting it go into a database and you never listen to it and capture. Especially as one is new or learning, information is literally empowerment. Information is literally fuel for your journey. It's everything the person has learned being transmitted to you and makes your path quicker, because you don't have to do everything the person has done over the years. And it's kind of compressed with the tidbits of what's essential through somebody's practice. And therefore, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's already gone there, and the person's teachers have gone there. And therefore, you're getting a whole lineage of advice that could span decades, centuries, several millennia. And that really gives you the directness and the precision to help guide you through the practice. And so some of it is, practicing with me ideally, if you feel called to. But if you don't have the time to sit, try to fit in the time to listen. Now, fast forward when I'm doing the practice, of course. If there's a way for you to see when I speak from some setting on your computer and you see the noise decibel go up, then definitely focus. If not, fast forward. But the importance is to get the knowledge, to save the knowledge, and then decide whether you act on it or not. Yes? Even for practice sessions, for those who've done the practice sessions with me on Wednesdays, you see I put in a lot of guidance throughout. Sometimes it's front-loaded, or sometimes in the middle of a practice, I would say something about something that I feel called to. It may speak to a lot of people, or only a few that are listening. But hopefully everybody pays attention to it, because next week what I say, or 2 months from now, might be exactly something that will help you. That will provide, oh, he said this when this. Oh, you know what? He did mention when something like this, it's okay to shift to something else. Don't push through. I feel I'm in that place where I shouldn't push through. Or I feel I'm in that place that I feel I should push through, but then I feel I shouldn't. Or he says, I feel like this is when he says I need more discipline in my technique. I'm not going to allow myself to scribble a note here about something that I'm thinking. That's not the right thing here. I need to sort of focus and allow the thought to leave and focus on what I'm doing. And these are the nuance, the precision of a practice that comes with time, and how to do that analysis quickly. Otherwise, you're trapped in a thought, and that's a whole thing that derails you. But you get a sense by listening to different instructions, and then it just becomes easier because you develop a certain comfort and you understand kind of how to judge a situation. You're not lost, basically. You're not lost. And the difference between the people who were around me and others that went an easier way through the path was whether how lost they were in a way. Did they have the right person with the right guidance, or were they following somebody else who was lost themselves, or they didn't study enough and therefore were kind of lost, and then they lost interest, or they ended up in a place that was a little messed up and they needed a lot more help to kind of undo something. So stability is important, practice is important. The names themselves carry a lot of wisdom, and there's a lot of guidance. It unlocks things. Things will make sense through your practice. Somebody told me once, what came when I was really beginning, so I had to take a pause. I may have given the quote-unquote wrong answer. He said, what came first, the practices or the teachings of the practice? Like, did somebody realize the practice first? Or did the person get taught and then do the practice? It was sort of a chicken and the egg thing. I think I was a little stumped. I was a little new. Well, the answer to it is the person had the realization that led to the practice. Practices don't arise out of thin air. Someone received through his practice guidance that led into something that was passed on. Did the teachings come first, or did the practice that gave rise to the teachings come first? It's often said practice gives way to knowledge and to wisdom. It's the gateway. Like we've studied through the Sephirotes, and as one of these, I think, centuries, I will finally get into the chakras. I know it will come at the right time. The rising of energy leads to wisdom. Because energy just doesn't go up, it comes down. Like Jacob's ladder. You reach up, then as in the imagery of Jacob's ladder, the angels come down, bearing blessings and wisdom. If somebody were aligned and not out of balance, his practice would give rise to perfect wisdom. But we all have to go through a path where we're not aligned, and our practice leads to alignment and precision. But at the beginning, we're not. So there's the challenge. How do we grow and evolve when our energy could give knowledge that is off, wisdom that is off, instincts that are off, right? A lot of us today don't trust our instincts as much, and kind of rightly so, because where energy patterns in our body are disturbed. They don't flow properly. They're too agitated. So we're like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know, and I feel rattled, but maybe it's the right, maybe it's the wrong. It's turbulence. So when you learn to work through your practice, you're not sure which way to go because innately the field isn't clear. There's a lot of fog and storms. And that's wisdom to realize, oh, there's a lot going on with me. I don't know. And this is a new sort of country you're in. a new environment with a different landscape that you're using in, and something that most people this world do not get into. And so how do you know how to go about it? And for me was knowledge of people I trusted, lineages I came to trust, and then certain lineages I learned to back away from, hopefully taking the goodies from, and realizing what I take and what I leave and say thank you, but I'm going in this direction, and hopefully keeping everything that's the best. Because we need guidance. And the knowledge of listening, like if you like my teachings, there are now so many teachings available online. It's 108 or 5 now. I'm blown away. It started with actually the first the first 8 months aren't even online. So it's a whole other thing. I didn't record them. So it's literally there's a lot out there, and it's something to avail even when you're cleaning. A lot of it is me talking a whole lot, but I don't think there's a lot of mindless chatter in it. It's like really a lot in there. And it's, if you like it, listening 2, 3, 4 more times to get the pieces of it. And then your practice goes easier. Your day goes easier because you have a complete knowledge base on different ways to go about it. And you find the one that works for you for that situation. Your mind gets calmer during your day. Your practice gets deeper. Your energies become still, less turbulent, more aligned. And then your wisdom becomes much more trustworthy. And then eventually, you learn to trust yourself more and more, and you realize that you are your own teacher. Right? And part of the path is to learning to trust yourself. A lot in this world, we've been disempowered by a lot of things, our parents, our jobs, society, that we don't trust ourselves, or we over-trust ourselves when we shouldn't. But for a lot of us, is we never learn to trust our own voice. So the path is learning to trust our own instincts, and the intelligence is making sure that our instincts are correct. And sitting in meditation and in prayer, learning to steady the minds, our emotions, learning to sit still, learning to call in the blessings from God, and using these holy names and the vibrations, and what the vibrations of those sounds do to our minds, our bodies, our channels, our sephirots, our chakras, whatever you want to call it. And how they allow us to line up to truth, to calm, to the natural flow of wisdom that's always occurring if we're only able to receive it in its purity. The wisdom and knowledge is never disturbed. Our reception of it is. So whatever disturbance there is, it's us, our tuning fork, our receiver. we've got a lot of additional things going on with us, which sort of warps it or turns it off, and we don't even realize there's a signal coming. And so by doing this work in the winter, we are retuning ourselves that we don't provide disturbance to the signal that is always available to us, to the peace that's always available to us, to the Shekhinah that always is available to us and flows through us. And the understanding of how we work, how mantras work, how meditation works on our body, our minds, and all the techniques are the skills on how to do it. In a way, we're gardening our bodies, our souls, our minds, our energies. And these are the how to go about it. And I find it fascinating. I study all the time and I'm learning so much. It is amazing, the depth of traditions. Man has been pursuing this. Humanity has been pursuing this since the beginning of time. And we're looking to connect with Source. And for me, the Source is God. And as you meditate and practice and pray, you could make your own decision as to what the source is. But there is a source. There is a source of us, and there is a source of what alignment, wisdom, and knowledge is. And we discover that forgotten, hidden country which our practices leading us towards. And for me, there's no greater and more beautiful thing and no greater journey that we can possibly take in our lives. It's, in my opinion, the most fulfilling journey. The one that actually leads beyond our lives. The one investment that actually has dividends past this life and leaves a testament, a heritage to this world based on our behaviors and our interactions and what we leave through our effect we've had and maybe in many ways continue to have after we're gone, based on the journey and how we've navigated this life in a way that's wholesome. If we are able to emanate the peace, the shalom of the Shekhinah, the shalom of Yahweh, I believe it's a life well lived. Amen to that. Let us practice, my dear friends. So the word today is shalom. Surprise, surprise. So let us get ready. I have my candle out, my little colored sacred little glass from ancient thing that I have is off to the side, and I think it will be off to the side for a while. A big flame from a candle seems to be in right now. Powerful light. The illumination in the darkness. Hmm. It's still. And it's not wavering. And it seems like it just is eternal, manifesting. It seems to have no past or future. It's just light that emanates. And it's peaceful. And see, just by staring at it, if you look at the flame you have in front of you, look at the effect it has on you as you stare. And let's do that. Wow, look, spontaneous practice. Love it. So let's take a moment. I haven't done this. This is good. I like this. I'm going with this. Great. So we're working on shalom. The candle's very peaceful. So have a look at the flame that's emanating. And that's the focus of your meditation. It's not a tight focus. You're kind of taking in the wick, the piece of rope from which the flame comes from. It's called a wick in English. And then the wax, maybe a little bit above. So mine's in a candlestick. And the aleph is sort of in the background. And the flame is below, right below the aleph. So it's casting a shadow. It's actually illuminating the aleph that's in the background. And the candle is sort of floating in space in front of it. So look at the context of your candle. And it's a light focus. You're not focused directly on it. It's a little fuzzy because you're taking into account the whole environment around it. And just open in that space and rest. And see what arises. Let's do that for a couple minutes. Remember to breathe and relax. Just because you focus on something doesn't mean you get tense on it. Soft gaze, soft mind, a soft placement of attention. Okay. So you keep your attention there and see how you feel. Softer, more open, calmer. The candle hopefully softened us a little bit. See, we're not softening into a state of softness. That open, softer, more gentle, calm state is actually what we are. We're not making us softer and the normal is more agitated or faster or intense. We're returning to a baseline that's not disturbed. And that baseline is incredibly healing because it calms the heat and allows repair of the damage. So if you put your intention in your body, if you are put yourself now in your proper prayer meditation posture gently, and you feel your body, my body feels softer and more moisturized, for lack of another word, less crispy, fuller. So that place now is more ripe, more available to start our practice. Well, look, meditation with the body just sort of rose up naturally. See, how amazing is that? So, because we've prepared the space with our body, with our minds, with our intent, now when we go into a more formal practice, there's less for the mantra to work against because things are already open and calmed. So we're not fighting that because, in a way, we've prepared the field, we've prepared our body for it. So we're going to very gently begin our practice because we don't want to disturb anything. So the mantras just kind of, for lack of better word, slide in. Yes? So we always start with the Shema, but we're going to say the Shema very gently because we want to remain in this nice, even space. But we wish to invite in the blessing. The beginning of a formal practice. So you could easily say the Shema before you do the body work, but either way. So just very gently, you can put your right hand over your nose and gently over the third eye area, you turn inwards in prayer. Very gently, and you just say the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We're going to use Shalom. Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom. And use whatever word you wish to use before Shalom. Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom. And as we say it, we're mindful of our bodies. We're no longer just a mouth and a vocal cords and a sound, but all that is part of a body. It's part of an entire ecosystem. Without the body, there's no vocal cords, there's no air, there's no sound, there's no movement of the mouth. So as we pair and as we say a mantra or a prayer, whether we realize it or not, our whole body is part of it, of that production. So as we say the name, we have our intention softly and lightly in our body, and we are receptive, we're open to how it feels in our body. Because the effect is not just outside of us in the womb, to our ears, to the vibration, but the whole body receives. So as we are more centered and aligned and calm, we're able to say it in a way through the whole of us. Our whole body is saying it. And our whole body is receiving what it's creating. So we're open to the completeness of it. And as we are able to expand our awareness with practice, we're able to be in a room where we're able to sense the completeness of how it manifests, not only on how we perceive it, but how it manifests in the whole room. Because our awareness is bigger than our minds, our eyes, our ears, or even what we feel in our body from within or outside on our skin. But our ability to perceive can fill a whole room, can fill a whole space, 50, 100, 200 feet. Our awareness can be open, not bound by our physical or sensory limitations, and not bound by a distance, which is often much more limited than what it actually can be. But the secret, for the lack of a better word, is resting in the shalom. And in the shalom, things open up like a flower. So, my friends, let's try. Just breathe, relax, just open, let go, just let it flow. Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom. The word shalom carries great blessing. We started with, for me, Yahweh Shalom. So after doing that for a bit, you could simply just go to Shalom because you're in the context of God's Shalom already. So you could just focus on Shalom, 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 Shalom. The resting in the realignment causes our energies to align in the shalom naturally. So the word shalom by itself is a mantra because peace comes from perfection and alignment, which is of God. So we're literally calling in the peace of God. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
תרצה רוח, קבל רינת עמך סגבנו, תרנו נורא. אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך, תרצה רוח, קבל רינת עמך סגבנו, תהרנו נורא. אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך, תרצה רוח, קבל רינת עמך סגבנו, תהרנו נורא. נא גיבור דורשי ייחודך, כבבת שומרם, ברכם תרם, רחמי צדקתך, תמיד גומלם, חסין קדוש, חסין קדוש, ברוב טובך נהל עדתך, יחיד גאה לעמך פנה, זוכרי קדושתך, שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו, יודע תעלומות. אנא בכוח גדולת ימינך, תרצה רוח, קבל רינת עמך סגבנו, תהרנו נורא. שבתנו קבל ושמע צעקתנו, יודע תעלומות, יודע
ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
May the great Shalom HaKadosh be with us, remain with us, with our families, and with our world. Amen. Have a wonderful evening and remainder of your week. Bye-bye.